Hello, everybody. Larry Young here again with another segment of OLaMan Living Life with Purity. And I had taken about a 2-week sabbatical here, and I wanted to basically disconnect from the media and communications and to try to tone down a bit of the volume that was going on around me. So it was basically a self-prescribed exile, which I suggest that a lot of people do, just so you can concentrate on the basics of life and not try to be flooded by the minutia that is coming at you, which is just lies and turbulence that's trying to screw our lives up and make people become, in effect, even more apathetic about what is going on in the world, to say, well, what's the point? What's the use? What can I do? What difference does it make? To quote the illustrious Hillary Clinton when talking about the Benghazi murders. These are the kind of things that the media and the community, our culture, is trying to drive us into this steady diet of apathy, which is really the last level of the decline of a nation. Is if you can get your entire population to be more apathetic about things, that is when your country, your nation, is done. And this has been talked about many, many times over the years. Most recently, I did the book by Archbishop John Knoll, when he talked about the decline of nations and the 8 steps to the decline. And right now, we're at the last rung of that ladder. This is apathy. And I want to talk about this a little bit. So I'd taken the time off, and I ended up getting that cold that was going around the country, kind of a creeping crud kind of thing. So, but it was really pretty sickening, and a lot of people are getting this, and there's not a lot of meds you can take for it. You just got to work your way through it. But I come out of my exile from the media, and what do I come back to? I come back to Bishop Shaleta. And if you folks don't know who Bishop Shaleta is, this is a guy who's been stealing from the Catholic Church and the faithful for many, many years, apparently, under the nose of people in his own organization, not calling him out for his theft and misuse of funds. Well, they also didn't call him out when he was going to whorehouses in, where was he going to? He was going down to Tijuana. So this guy, I think, was in San Diego. And so he was hopping across the border to go down to see the bordellos and go see the lovely ladies down in Tijuana. All the while, he also apparently had a side hustle with a family. Had a family on the side, a woman and multiple kids would follow him around from one assignment to the next. Who does that? Maybe a wife? A girlfriend? You know, somebody who is your family moves with you. This guy was sending out signals for so many years, and no one was doing anything. No one was throwing up the stop sign. All of his people, these good Catholics in his organization, were looking the other way. Nothing to see here. Not focused on what was going on right in front of them, because none of them wanted to speak up and be labeled as being a troublemaker and these types of things. This is their job. This is all of our jobs. It's been told to us numerous times. I don't have to go back that far, but if you remember, Archbishop Sheen talked about it. He preached about this many, many times. That is our job as the faithful to keep our priests behaving like priests and our bishops behaving like bishops. We have to keep the rules upon them, and we need to enforce these things because they won't do it to themselves. And this is no more abundantly clear than in this situation with Bishop Shaleta. Now, in this instance, if you were to do this in a regular company outside of the organization of the church, you're asked to get shit canned immediately. There'd be no talk about it. HR would call you in, clean out your drawer, the guys will escort you out of here. Don't look back. Keep going. But instead, what's this guy do? He gets called to Rome, and he gets allowed to resign Too bad the Vatican got rid of the death penalty in 1969. This is total BS. Total BS, more cover-up. This is the same shit that they did with Cardinal McCarrick, and he got to end up dying peacefully on his own after he sold his soul to the CIA and the State Department to help with the overthrow of one bishop, or not bishop, but Pope Benedict XVI in 2012. We covered all that. The evidence is clear from Mike McCarrick's, or Mike, what was his name? Michael, well, I'll think of it in a second here. But the ex-White House stenographer who put all this stuff down. He knew what was going on with the Obama administration. This is just terrible behavior. But it keeps going on and on and on, and the church doesn't do anything about these guys because we got to pray on it. Let the Lord take care of things. No. These are God's hands. God gave you hands, and he gave you a mission to do your work. Don't keep putting it back to God when it's your job to be doing this. Be looking out for these people. Get them out of the way, because they're going to end up hurting more people, and they're going to become more confused, and they're going to end up like that. This is how this happens, because no one steps in to do the discipline when it's time for it. So this is what's happening. This is why folks like the university people at Notre Dame and at St. Mary's up in South Bend don't give a damn what the bishop has to say. They're going to do what they think is best. It wasn't that long ago the good people at Notre Dame wanted to get rid of the Catholic mission statement. We don't need that. We're too smart for the church. This is what they're saying. But they tried to eliminate that from the code, and it got kind of swept under. Why did they do that? Because they didn't fear or have any concern or care about the discipline that may be coming down from the local bishop. This is where this long tether, this long leash, and with no accountability, leads to disaster. So Notre Dame is on the precipice right now of just becoming a basic university and losing all its Catholic character. Some will always be underneath there. They're never going to get rid of it. But the people in charge who think they're too mighty and too intelligent for this type of stuff, this is what's coming. It's coming. Along with apparently legalized prostitution, because this Bishop Shaleta apparently thinks it's a wonderful pastime. So we are going to be having attempts at legalizing prostitution in this country, and it's coming along very, very quickly. This is also by design to help undermine the bonds of marriage, because what these progressives want is they want no marriage. They want people not to be attached to one another. They want people to be loose and independent and afraid. And they're doing a damn good job of it. This is where the devil has unleashed his multiple demons upon the world right now. They're doing a damn fine job. Because people like the people in this guy's administration weren't standing up to him and stopping him. This is their job. And they're not doing it. Because what happens when you put a Catholic who has a mission in a room? They're pretty tough about things. They have their rules. You put 3 of them in a room, and they get confused, and they don't enforce anything. They become so passive. The multiplication, the synergistic effects, it seems, of putting these people, these Catholics in authority together, the more you put in a room, the less effective they become. Because they're confused. They don't understand that there are some things that are absolute. But they keep letting it go because we have to be nice. We have to be empathetic. We don't know everything that's going on in this man's life. Well, we know enough of it, apparently, and so do a lot of other people. So the guy was stealing money, visiting hookers, keeping a family on the side. Yeah, he was a great guy. How many others are there? How many others are out there and no one even wants to talk about it because no one wants to be that person? who wants to call this person out because, oh, we don't know everything. We got to be, sympathetic to these things. It's all about forgiveness. Well, until priests start doing public confessions, I don't know if I'm trusting everything that's going on behind the scenes. Might be overplay, but when you get guys like this going on, you had McCarrick going on, and you got a bunch of others. You got McElroy in D.C. right now, a flaming gay, saying that homosexual sex is not a sin and being backed up by Pope Francis. Folks, the horse has left the barn. You're not getting him back. You got to get a new horse. These guys are so full of themselves because no one will stop them. And when they do get stopped, they get this resignation and this polite exit, and then they turn them over to local authorities to try to regain some of this money this guy stole. They're going to try to make it all about a local theft situation and turn them over to local authorities, and they're going to wash their hands of them, and they're going to hopefully everyone face, which they will, because the church and the church authority has such a strong drug, and it has people afraid to step out of their trance that they're into right now. We need for people to wake the hell up. The church faithful all over the globe need to wake up and get some discipline back. You've got to say no. If you're not saying no, you're not standing up for anything. And that's the problem. So it's just kind of funny that I saw somebody who had threatened my life because of things that I had said about church officials being weak in the Notre Dame situation a few weeks ago. I see one of these guys back out there now is saying that it's still a great thing with this Bishop Shaleta and how wonderful the church is doing to take action so quickly. The guy's been going at this shit for over 20 years. I don't think that's a quick response by anybody. And they moved him around, and they moved him one of the top jobs in the country for a basic bishop. This is sickening. I'm more sick from this than I've been the last 2 weeks with the flu that's been going around. So in the meantime, wake up, everybody. Pay attention. This isn't going to go away until you, me, and the other guys say something. So in the meantime, I love you, and I'll be back.